neighbour.
You don't need to tell me that. We already know that, but you see him there. You have a good look at him there, because I'll tell you something, ladies, girls, I'll tell you something. Everybody knows that he backs him, the coppers back him, the government backs him, and when you've gone back after you've had your little play, when you've gone back to Scotland in your own comfort, he'll get his way because they don't care about us. You know they don't care about us.
Listen to me. I have contacts in Westminster, in London. I know people. I have the ear of Mr. Asquith, the Prime Minister. I sit down to table with these people. No one will escape knowing about your lives and the way you lead them. You will not go hungry. I have influence in high places. I know the nailmakers' strike was a disaster, a tragedy. That was because you were not organised. You did not have leaders. This time it is going to be different. This time we will win if you join with us.
What are we going to lose, Mill?
I've got air to lose. I've got air to lose.
You've got to give us a chance.
Listen, you, how much do you earn? Tell me.
5 shillings a week, that's what he pays me. 5 shillings a week. I work my fingers to the bone from the minute.
And that's all you want.
Women workers, right, women workers. I have enough money in my strike fund, which is growing by the hour. I will guarantee anyone who joins the National Federation of Women Workers and comes out, lest your forges grow cold, come and join me. I will guarantee you 4 shillings a week strike pay.
4 shillings.
4 shillings a week strike pay to join with me.
Can you bring this to move? Come on, Mill.
What have you got to lose?
Nothing. We've got nothing to lose.
You can't lose that. If you're going to get money to be out on strike...
And you think we're going to win? What do you girls say? I'm all quiet with everything.
If you've got money to live, you can stay out on strike until he has to get in.
Well, let me tell you something. Every one of you that comes out on strike, you'll never get your job back, ever. And as for you, I'm warning you, you live in my house. And if you come out on strike, you will be out.
You can't
Just watch me.
As long as she pays her rent,
Just watch me.
So unnecessary, sir.
Unnecessary? I tell you what's unnecessary. Some woman coming down from Scotland causing a strike. That's what's unnecessary.
I hope you have the power of the law on your side.
I do.
Albert!
I do have the power of the law. And what is more...
hey lads, come on here.
There's only one way I'm going to get me out of this house, and that's if you drag me out. I've paid more rent than you ain't.
Constable!
So you're going to get back.
Do your work! I've got an eviction notice! I've got an eviction notice!
Nobody's coming into this house. You can't get her out as long as there's paid her
I've
rent.
got the force of the law behind me! Constable, do your work!
You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Gentlemen, stand aside.
No way.
Look now,
You ain't
now you
coming
can't
in
do
this
it.
house.
Stand aside.
Oh, Dennis has
Nobody's
got
coming
a
in this
back.
house.
I said stand
Has got a
aside. Move back. Back.
Constable!
Officer, in the furtherance of his duty.
Here will
Show me
be!
your warrant.
Here is the eviction notice! By law, signed by the magistrate!
I suppose you paid him, have you?
No, I'm the magistrate! Now get out!
Gentlemen,
Get them out!
get out of the way. I will not tell you again.
You are not coming in here.
I will not tell you again. If you do not move, I will arrest you and I will read the Riot Act to you.
There's no need for that.
Then move.
Mother, I'm really proud of you.
Get out of my way.
We're not going. Nah, we ain't going down. You're not getting this woman out of this house.
Gentlemen, you leave me no choice but to read the Riot Act. You will therefore be criminals under law. You will move.
They ain't getting it out. They are not getting it out.
Quiet. Our sovereign lord, the king, chargeth and commandeth all persons being assembled to disperse themselves and peacefully depart their habitations. or to lawful business upon pains contained in the Act made in the first assemblies.
Sorry, girl.
God save the King.
Can't do any more. Get away, lad.
Now get them out!
Get away.
Constable, do your duty.
Now, come on.
Come on, get out of the way.
Now, come on.
Get out of the way.
Come on. Let's go down that way.
Break the door down if necessary.
Break the door. This is your house. You're going to break the door down. That's clever, right?
That's great. Your house, and you want to break the door down?
If necessary,
Leave
get
the
them out.
woman alone. What's the matter with you?
And this will happen to every one of them that goes on strike. Every one of them that goes on strike.
Get away, man.
And the belly.
No, young buddy.
Sir, you will rot in hell for this.
Move along now.
Move along.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Move along. You heard? Constable, disperse this crowd. Disperse, the lot of you.
The street has got a right to be in the street.
Women!
I don't care what
I'll
riot.
lock you up.
Hold on, listen. Gather round. Gather round. I recognise there are those amongst you who will be wondering what right I have to be speaking to you and on behalf of the women chainmakers of Cradley Heath. I hope you will come to believe me when I say it is the sense of injustice and unfairness that drives me to use all the resources at my disposal to help support these women and their families. For making 1 yard of chain, we get 1 penny. 1 penny for a yard of chain struck by hand and struck to last a lifetime. And the conditions in which these women work would not seem out of place in the Middle Ages. Well, they are out of place in 1910. We need to remind ourselves that we are now living in the 20th century, one in which we can move forward to a fairer, more civilized way of life, not just for the few, but for all. It is not the God-given privilege of those born to wealth and privilege, such as myself, to live comfortably off the backs of others, such as yourselves. So I intend to use the accident of my privilege to help support these women in their struggle. You know, my very first glimpse of Cradley Heath was on a dark November afternoon. From the window of my railway carriage, I could see through the grills into a long, low shed. The red glow of those forge fires and the shadowy figures moving amongst them put me in mind of some medieval torture chamber, the like of which you would only see in Madame Tussauds in London. And the women working those forges, their children around their feet, had been there since 7 o'clock that morning, a mere 12-hour day. Now, for those of you who know little or nothing of the chain-making trade and the women who work it, let me tell you more. The oldest woman worker I have spoken with is 79 years of age. Yes, 79! And she has worked the forge since she was a child of 10. Now her children and her children's children are all slaves of the forge, for I can call them nothing else. Remember, from 7 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock each night, for 1 penny a yard, and at the end of a long, long working week, these women can expect to have earned between 5 and 8 shillings, on which they must feed, clothe, and house their families. These people live close to the edge of starvation. Indeed, it is said that none of the chain makers' houses have need of a larder, for they all live hand to mouth. And so this hopeless, despairing struggle for survival will go on unless we gather our strength and our courage and we move as one. Divided, we can do nothing, but together we can become as strong and as mighty as the chain you make. So let your forges grow cold and lay down your tools. Yes, I know the manufacturers have stockpiled cheap chain made at your expense against this strike action. It will not be so long before those piles of chain disappear, and you will soon be wondering who's going to make the next lot. Already, 800 cradling women have downed tools and are preparing to take to the streets and march as we speak. They will march for freedom and the right to earn 2.5 pennies an hour. Now, I know there are women amongst us who have already been duped by underhand means. The manufacturers have already agreed to pay the minimum rates. This call for action is to support all of you women out there who have had little or no schooling and who have been tricked into making your mark on the so-called petitions of your employers. In effect, giving away your right to earn the minimum wage. So join with us, women. Join the National Federation of Women Workers and march with us. And I give you my word, not one of you, nor your families, will go hungry. Go to your homes, prepare your banners, rally the forces, and let us prepare to march together for freedom and the right!
You know what, Declan? There's none of you's going to work against joins this strike. I promise you. Not one of you will ever work again.
Divided we stand, women.
Exactly.
You can do without one of your workers. You cannot do without them all, sir.
We'll see about that. I can get me a machine that'll do the work of 10 of them.
I don't think your pockets are deep enough, sir.
We'll see.
And there won't be if you ain't earning any money. And I'm going to make sure that every miner in this area comes out on strike in support.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Do you hear that, women?
Then you
Do you hear that? You're not alone.
I'll have you written off his present list for Christmas, mate. I can tell you now.
Run miner strikes before. And what do they come to? Nothing. Because I'll have the force of the law at every pithead. And I'll make you go down.
This will be different because the chain wreckers will be
No,
there
it's
to
always
defend
going
us.
to be different. But it never is.
It will be
It will
this
be.
time.
You'll see, in the end, the masters always win.
Not this time,
Oh,
Woodall.
yes.
Not this
The
time.
masters
no.
always win.
Sorry, sir.
Not this
Union
time.
No,
is
not
strength.
this time. Go
Unity
home to your
is
fancy
strength.
house.
We will see.
We will indeed,
We will
sir.
indeed. Go on then, boys.
Women to your homes, prepare the banners.
And you're not to be best keeping out on it at all.